pride that India is the largest milk producer in the world. We are. The fact remains we are. But we are also the largest milk consumer in the world. A, because of a very high population, not only human beings but cattle and animals also, the largest. And the fact remains that because of a large population, the productivity remains low. The productivity figure which you must have seen earlier also, the reason for the productivity is in Europe and US and the developed countries, cattle is being used as a machine wherein it is 9 to 11 even tons per head of the milk can be drawn. But in India the productivity is only 1.2. The B is we use all sorts of animal for milk. It can be cow, it can be buffalo. Buffalo is good, but then we have sheep, we have goat, we have camel, almost everything for milk, which is not the case in the developed countries. Now, if you see, India is not only the largest producer of the milk. Anyway, figure varies somewhere between 111 or 112 to 220, and it is likely to increase. I think these are the likely to increase to 153. By 2020, which would equal to the EU's total milk production by the end, but figures may vary. Anyway, what we know from this is India, despite producing the highest milk, is not the largest player in the international trade in the world. 27% the market share in the international market is that of the New Zealand. The milk production of New Zealand is only 1/7 of India, 16 million tons. The other dominant player in the world market is Australia. India produces 12 times more milk than this. And, as Dr. Bhasin has made in his inaugural address in the beginning of the conference, the basic reason is our growth in the milk production is, at 3.5%. And if you see, the consumption growth is 4%. There is a gap. The consumption growth in the world is 2% only. India is 4%. Anyway, India's production is also more, but it appears that there is likely to be a deficit in the milk, and we need innovative strategies. Per capita availability remains very low, and therefore I personally feel is any export of milk, at least milk or the basic milk products from this country, is likely to be at the cost of the health of the population of the people of India. Presently we are not. Now, if you see the other thing, the yield remains the lowest. Yield is likely to increase, but not as much as the other countries are. And there is a German saying that in case anybody is going ahead and you are standing still, you are going backward automatically. Now, I'll just give you the world dairy scenario. If you look at it, in 2008 it was at the peak. 66 billion US dollars. It decreased because of the world financial crisis, and the decline could have been much steeper, but it was because of the melamine crisis in China. Program 2 months back for the people in Japan and some South Asian countries. Japan in 2009 and 10, they have slaughtered hundreds of thousands of cattle because of the disease. Anyway, we cannot do that. So there was a demand in Japan and China both. And we also use non-tariff barrier. India even now, there is a ban in import of meat, dairy and dairy products from Japan now even. So this growth is because of basically because of the more demand of the foreign dairy products in China. New Zealand rather from 19% has gone to 27% in the last 10 years. If you see, and the share of the European Union is continuously diminishing from 38% to 24% in last 10 years. And as I told you that, in the international market, we need to know about the nuances. And therefore, I told you that there is going to be the increasing significance of developing countries in the international markets. In case a country exports the milk powder or butter oil, it remains at the lower value. I'll come to that. But how much of the cheese and the milk powders we are exporting? Now, the prices, if you see, that after touching a peak, the prices of the whole milk powder and the skim milk powder, it declined, and then it touched a peak in 2011, and it is likely to remain flat almost in the nominal terms. Little rise in the nominal terms, but flat in the real terms, taking into the inflationary pressures into the consideration. Now, if you look into the prices of the butter, it is likely to almost flat, if not, but it is almost declining in the real terms. So don't expect much rise in the prices of butter and milk powders in time to come, and there is no shortcut to your efficiency in terms of the costing and pricing, while planning your margins from your products. Cheese is likely to go only in the only in the nominal terms, but adjusting inflationary pressure, we do not see any increase in the price. I do not foresee export in time to come. I do not. The milk production is not keeping pace with the milk consumption. You have seen that after having 2008 export, which was almost at the peak, we have become a net importer of the milk products now. And this time the season is good and the flush time is there and we are having a lot of milk, but time is likely to come over a long term, we would be a net importer of milk. And I see these trends for the other agriculture products also. Being the largest producer, like India is the largest producer of bananas in the world, but we are nowhere in exporting bananas.